thanks for watching today. I appreciate you joining me. I'm going to show you today a technique where you can create some really fun and interesting backgrounds to your cards. You can do a bunch of these ahead of time and have them on hand for whenever you need a quick card. All you need is some ink pads, and you don't need stamps, but you will be using today some tape, masking tape, painter's tape. Painter's tape is better because it's a little bit more low tack, not quite as sticky. It won't stick to your cardstock or pull it in any way. But if you do have regular masking tape, then you can always just take it and brush it on your clothes or your arm to get some lint or oils on there, and it will be less sticky. So wait till you see this. It's going to be lots of fun and something different, something you can do when you don't really feel like making a full card, just want to play around with some backgrounds. Have them on hand for later on, add a sentiment, and bam, you have a card done. So I hope you like this technique. If you do, please give me a comment or a thumbs up down below. And don't forget to go to stampwithlorraine.com, where you can see other ideas and other tutorials posted there. You can also sign up for my blog, where you get my newsletters, and that comes stocked with lots of Stampin' Up! News and some tutorials and some fun ideas and tips and tricks. So I hope you do that, and thank you so much for watching today. Enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to do a technique that's been around for quite a while, and it's a fun way just to get some different kinds of backgrounds. You can just take a quarter sheet of paper, some white cardstock, and some tape. So low tack tape, like painter's tape, is usually best. But you can use masking tape if you stick it to your clothes a little bit, make it less tacky, because you don't want it pulling up on your paper. So that's why the low tack painter's tape is good for this. So all you need is a piece, maybe about this long, about the size of your ink pad, and we're actually going to use this as your stamping element. So opening up your ink pad and sticking your tape onto it. Actually, one thing I like to do is just fold over the ends a little bit, just to give me a little bit more, a little of a handle, but also I know those parts I'm not going to stick onto the ink. Where it's sticky, I might not have a judgment of where I added the ink or not. Okay, so then basically you're just going to tap your tape onto your ink pad. Just go across it like that. And you're going to add it to your card. And then you pull it up. Now, I didn't press too hard on that. I didn't get too much ink. This is Daffodil Delight, so it is going to be on the lighter side, but you can do it multiple times to get it as dark as you like, or keep it as light as you like. I'm just going to make some perpendicular and parallel lines on this as a little background, and see how you get that little speckly look to that. A lot depends on how inked and juicy your ink pad is as well. Okay, see, that one has a little bit more. And if you wanted, you can have another sheet of paper next to you. If it's really juicy, you can add it to the next one and just have a lighter look to it. You can get two out of one and save a little time. Do some multiples while you're at it. Okay, and I'm going to do one more over here. And then pull it up. Now I'm going to get a little just a nice little pattern in the back. All right, so I'm starting with my lightest color. This is Daffodil Delight, and I'm not going to bother switching tape because I'm just kind of tapping the excess off here, and I'm going to go to my next darker color. I'm going to go to Mango Melody. This one's a little juicier and it is darker, obviously. If you want to test it on your scrap paper first, you can do that and see how light or dark it's going to come. So just tapping that there. Maybe I'll offset that. Get some different tones in my pattern. Different lengths overlapping. Okay, maybe I'll do another one here. Could have done more yellow on this. Okay, and then maybe that's it for the mango. Put that aside. I'm going to go on to Calypso Coral for my darker color. Usually use 3 or 4 different colors. They could be in similar shades or mix them up. I'll show you some different variations, of course. Okay, so just test it out on my scrap paper here and see how dark that's going to come. So that's going to add a nice contrast to the other colors. Okay, now I'm just going to dab. Looks like a mess, right? But once you add greetings and background layers or some embellishments, it's going to look kind of cool. Okay, so there you go. I could toss that tape. There's plenty more where that came from. All right, we'll put that aside and I'll show you a card I made with these same colors. I'll use these for something else later. So I took this background, matted it on a black card base, and came up with this. So pretty nice. You got, you know, your parallel and perpendicular lines. I took the Amazing Thanks dies and die cut that out of gold foil. Added 3 of the little gold embellishments, the metallic pearls. It comes in silver and gold, so I added just 3 of those things. Plain and simple, nice and quick and easy. So you could do a bunch of these ahead of time, keep them in your stock, and then just add your sentiments as you need them, a label or another layer. I already had this in my in my little case here. I keep extras in here. I had cut this out for something else, and I said, oh, I'd like to do something in gold. I said, oh, I already have one. So I put the adhesive backing on this. I'm going to show you how to do that in one of the other on my next card. So you'll see how nice and easy that is here. And this die cut set has background layers to go with those words as well. And I'll show you those in a second. Well, you're getting your fingers messy. May as well do a couple, right? Okay, so these I chose 2 of my favorite colors that are retiring soon, the Just Jade and the Misty Moonlight. All right, so let's open up. We're going to start with the lightest one, the Granny Apple Green, and then Just Jade, and then Misty Moonlight. All right, new piece of tape. And we'll see what these colors look like when we put those all together. Let's try doing a different kind of pattern, maybe more of a starburst. We'll kind of go around from the center out. All right, maybe it'll look a little tie-dye-ish. I don't know. Let's give it a whirl, okay? And so even if you get just a hint of some of those lines going in, and when it crinkles, it kind of gives a new kind of look to it as well. So not to worry, just kind of go for it and play around. Okay, let me close that so I don't make a mistake and go back to it with my darker color. Okay, on to Just Jade. Clear off the ink from there a little bit. Oh, fingers are getting a little messy. That's okay. Inky fingers means you're being creative. Okay, now on to the Misty Moonlight. Now this one tends to be kind of dark, so test it out on your scrap paper first. And if it's a little too dark, well then just do second generation on your next, on your card. All right, so stamping is like stamping off a little bit, right? Okay, so that's Just Jade. Putting that on there. And then you can trim it down. I often use a little bit bigger piece than what I want for here, because then I could trim down and see what I actually want to use. So once you put that on your cardstock, it brings a little bit more interest to there. So let me trim that down a little. So I want it to be 4 by 5 1/4. I started off with just a 1/4 sheet, so that was 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. Found this divided container that I've had for years. So I have my little bit bigger pieces in this half here, and then in the quarters I have the smaller pieces in one side, and then on the other side I have some of the things that have already been die cut or slightly embossed or maybe stamped on and I didn't use it yet. So those are just a little organizational idea that you might like. And it certainly helps me. I keep it right at my fingertips here. Okay, so in that little stash, I found a die cut here that I didn't use before. So I put it on my Stamparatus because I want to make sure I get a really dark image. I'm using the Stamp Set Biggest Wish, same concept. And I'm going to stamp the Happy Birthday on here. So I'm just going to line that up, and then we can put that on our card. Okay. So there we go. Put that on there. Now let's see, what color should I stamp that in? My other one I did blue, I think. I don't know, let's try the jade. No, I think I'm going to do black. I want it to stand out nice and bold. I tend to often go to black. I have to step out of my box sometimes and do different things, but okay, because I want it nice and dark, using the Stamparatus will allow me to restamp. I see I have to lean more on that side or ink it up more on the Y. I think I might have to ink up my stamp pad as well. Oh, look at that. Okay, now when you're using the photopolymer, you do want a little bit of the foam mat under here. So make sure you have that to add the proper thickness. I'm going to just move this over here. Maybe that will help. When I lean down here. Oh. Okay, there we go. Nice dark image. And then you can layer that on your card. Decorate it with some embellishments, and I'll do that a little bit later, but gives a nice little background. This is one I did in those same colors, just with the parallel and perpendicular lines like we did with the yellows and oranges. And I'm going to mount that onto my Just Jade. And I'll show you how I'm adding the die cuts on here. I love those die cut words. Okay, the Amazing Thanks dies. Like I said, comes with the smaller, more script image, but then also the background that you can layer them onto to create a shadow effect or some dimension. Looks like it's higher. So putting that on there like that can really make that pop. And you can line it up perfectly, or you can offset it in a way that looks a little bit more like a shadow. Okay, kind of like that. And what I did with this, the black, I did not put the adhesive sheets on the back. I did put it on the back of my white so that I can just peel that off and stick it to the black layer. And you want to do this very carefully, obviously. You don't want to tear the letters apart. And that will add a little more dimension and interest to the layers. And you want to layer it carefully. It is they're sticky, but that's the whole idea. This way I don't have to worry about getting glue on those little pieces. So I just got to work my way over, doing one letter at a time before pushing it all down. And look how cool is that? I love it. I love it. So cool. So cool. And there's plenty of places here for me to put my liquid glue. So that's what I'm going to do there. And then I have same thing with you. Peel it off. And I'll have an amazing you. Okay, and I can put that on with my liquid glue. I'll put a little offside. Okay, and just to add some contrast, one of my favorite embellishments, the black matte dots. Put a couple on there. Different sizes, which is nice. Whoa, I like to use the pick tool. Okay, so you can add them however you want. And then another one that I did was I took the tape and I did them all on the diagonal. Just alternating colors. And just uses the one sheet of your one layer, which is nice. I will cut that down a little bit. And then you can use these strips that you cut off on your inside. Five and a quarter. Okay, so I will layer that onto there. Again, this is the Granny Apple Green, Just Jade, and Misty Moonlight, and it's on the Night of Navy cardstock. I tried the Misty Moonlight, but I didn't think it was enough contrast. And this ink came out really dark when I did it anyway, so I wanted something darker on that one. All right, then we can put our little pieces on the inside. So I'm just going to cut that off to make it fit the 5 and a quarter. You can glue that down. So use your little strips, your leftovers. Okay, so nice and bold. If you want, you can even do that down below. Why not? following up on that little crisscross pattern, right? Okay, and then I took one of my stitch rectangle dies, cut out from Misty Moonlight, and that's going to be my focal point. And I cut Thanks out of the Misty Moonlight just to have some contrast, and we'll put that on the white background this time. So on this one we had a dark background with the white top lettering, so I figured we'll reverse it this way just so you can see the difference. And there we go. And look how nicely that shows up, right? Kind of really stands out. Okay, so I already cut this out of just plain white, no adhesive sheet on the back. And I'm going to use my mini cut and emboss machine. And if you're watching this in March of 2022, this machine is on sale for 20% off, along with some coordinating dies and some bundles. So I'm going to take, just show you real quick how to do this. I'm going to take the U die cut, and we're going to take a little piece of adhesive sheet. Okay, what I do is I just make find a piece of scrap that's going to work with whatever the size the die cut is, and then I match up a little piece of the adhesive sheet to the cardstock, and I'm going to use my dedicated sticky scissors, always good to have those, and I'm just going to cut. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to use right to the edge anyway. So just cut a piece the size of your cardstock, or if you're careful enough, you can cut it a little smaller to just accommodate the size of your die. But I find this is just as easy. Okay, now if you're looking at this on the side, there is a side that says peel here, but often you're cutting pieces that are not on that edge. So you can just kind of rough up the corner, and then you can find how to peel off the piece there. But otherwise, there is a side here that is easy to start to peel. Okay, and what I do is I peel off just a piece of it, or you can peel from the top and fold it down. I do that a lot too. And then I just line that up to my cardstock. So the whole thing isn't sticky. I'm not getting my fingers all over it and making it less sticky. And also, if I need to readjust, it's easy to pull it up and readjust that. So I just do a little piece of it. Once it's aligned, then I peel the whole thing off. And I know it's going to fit on my piece pretty easily. Then you just run that through your die cut machine. And I like to keep this little one right on my desk for these small jobs. I don't have to go over to my big one. Starting with your white plate, your number 2 clear lucite plate, put your die cut face down on your cardstock and your next number 2 plate, and then you crank it through. And you have your, it's like a little sticker. Okay, you can use your pick tool, just poke that out. I kept losing my cap, so I put some gold glitter on there. So when it's laying down, I can find it a lot easier. It's not just clear getting lost among the stuff while on my work table here. And then we peel it off and add it to the background. All right, how easy is that? Much better than trying to get the glue on there and it's oozing out all over your fingers and sticky workplaces and whatever. So then we're just going to add that to our rectangle, and you have a card. Okay, so keep your masking tape backgrounds handy, make a bunch of them, and then use them as you need them. Keep a separate bin. Oh, no. See, I'm not even thinking here. Oh, boy. Okay, not thanks you. You can use thanks alone, or What I wanted to do was show you how you can cut this off. And then you just have thank you, obviously. I know you guys saw that coming. I wish you could tell me, right? Okay, I didn't want to pull that up completely. I do have a little bit of glue there, but I'm going to use my adhesive eraser. And I will add my U. Okay, oh, this one I did put white on the sticker on the back of the white because I had a piece of white left over for something small, so I decided to do that. Okay, so I have my little gummy adhesive eraser. So once this is no longer wet and it's just tacky, I can rub that off. And then I can also put a little embellishment on there or a ribbon across it. So I'll show you what I do with that later. All right, and then that can go right on there, just like that. You have a nice handsome card, right? That could be good for a guy. Put it either direction, and it's kind of fun. So if you're looking to just play around with some backgrounds, do a bunch of them, keep them handy, and you're good to go. And you just add your sentiment, and you have a nice card. All right, so I'll show you some more as I make some more with some different colors, and stay tuned to the end and watch a little slideshow with all my cards that I've done. Okay, thank you.